Raj, customers handed you winners and you said they lost?
Every ticket I cashed went through the state system.
This is Raj Patel, a licensed lottery retailer who looked his customers in the eye, told them they'd lost, and pocketed their winning tickets. He did it dozens of times. Investigators finally caught up with the pattern.
And you told the customer it was a loser first?
The terminal shows what the terminal shows.
But you read it wrong on purpose, Raj?
He would tell his attorney later that he could not remember the exact moment it started. But the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement remembered every single one. 4 years. 342 customer tickets scanned across the counter of Sunrise Convenience in Delhi in Edison, New Jersey. $847,000 in winnings he told strangers they had lost, then cashed himself. The oldest victim was 91 years old. The smallest ticket he stole was worth $2. The largest was worth $180,000. And the surveillance system he installed himself, above his own register, to protect his own store, would eventually record every theft in high definition. Before we go any further, I have to ask you something. When was the last time you handed something valuable to a stranger and just trusted them to be honest about it? A ticket, a receipt, a bill, a form? Think about that answer. Drop it in the comments. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe now. We cover cases like this every single week, and the ones nobody in mainstream news wants to touch. Trust me, the full story of what happened inside Sunrise Convenience only gets worse from here. Rajesh Anandkumar Patel was born on August 3, 1983, in Ahmedabad, in the state of Gujarat, India. His father, Anand Patel, ran a small kirana shop 3 blocks from the family's second-floor apartment. His mother, Priya, kept the household. The shop sold rice, lentils, cooking oil, cigarettes, and single sachets of shampoo hung on a wire behind the counter. Raj, as everyone called him, grew up watching his father count coins into a wooden till, while a Bakelite transistor radio propped against the ghee tin played cricket commentary from the All India radio broadcast in Mumbai. He learned to read customers before he learned to read English. He learned that a shopkeeper's face has to stay soft no matter what the day has done to him. The Patel family emigrated to the United States in the spring of 1995. Raj was 11 years old. They settled in Newark, New Jersey, in a rented 2-bedroom on Clinton Avenue, and Anand worked 18 months at a cousin's gas station on McCarter Highway before he saved enough to sign a lease on a narrow storefront at 942 Frelinghuysen Avenue. The store, which he named Sunrise Convenience, opened in October of 1997. Raj was 14. He worked the register after school on a used national cash register that stuck on the 7 key. He learned to smile at every customer who walked through the door, and he learned that if you called an old man by his name when he came in for his coffee, he would come back tomorrow. He was, by every account, a good kid. Newark Central High School records described him as polite, punctual, and quietly ambitious. He graduated in 2001. He enrolled at Rutgers Newark for a business administration degree, commuting from home in his father's used Toyota Camry. He completed 4 semesters. Then, in the winter of 2003, his father collapsed behind the counter of the Frelinghuysen Avenue store with a hemorrhagic stroke. Anand survived, but he never returned to work. Raj withdrew from Rutgers and took over the family business at 20 years old. He would tell friends years later that he had never planned to run a convenience store. He had planned to be an accountant. In 2009, he married Shilpa Desai, a pharmacy technician from Iselin, in a Hindu ceremony at the Baps Shri Swaminarayan Mandir in Edison. Their daughter, Meera, was born in April of 2013. By that point, Raj had already sold the original Newark store and, with the proceeds and a small business administration loan, purchased a larger operation on Route 27 in Edison. It was a corner property with 2 gas pumps, a walk-in cooler, a hot food counter, and most importantly, a New Jersey lottery terminal. He kept the name, Sunrise Convenience, and Delhi, his father's name. In the neighborhood, Raj was known as the guy who remembered your order. Regular customers had accounts he kept in a spiral-bound notebook beside the register. He extended credit to construction workers on the last week of the month. He cashed paychecks for cash-only tenants who did not trust banks. He kept the lights on until 11 every night and opened at 5:30 every morning. His daughter did her homework in a back booth beside the coffee station on weekends. His wife brought him tiffin lunches 4 days a week. Local reporters, in later coverage, would quote a neighbor describing him as the closest thing that Block had to a mayor. His New Jersey Lottery retailer certification was issued in September of 2012. The terminal, manufactured by Scientific Games, sat at the left end of his front counter, angled slightly toward the register. The screen faced Raj. Customers standing at the counter could not read it unless they leaned across the tobacco display and asked to see. Almost none of them ever did. By 2019, Sunrise Convenience was one of the 10 highest volume lottery retailers in Middlesex County. In 2020, it broke into the top 5. Raj was, on paper, a success story. The immigrant boy from Ahmedabad, who had turned his father's stroke into a business empire. He drove a 2019 Honda Odyssey. He owned a modest split level in Colonia. He tithed to the temple. He coached his daughter's youth cricket team on Sunday mornings at the Edison Township field. Nobody in Edison knew that starting in the spring of 2020, when the pandemic emptied the streets and elderly customers began sliding tickets across his counter with shaking hands, Raj Patel had begun stealing from them. To understand what Raj Patel did, you have to understand how the New Jersey Lottery retailer system is designed to work, and, more importantly, how it is designed to fail. Every licensed retailer in New Jersey operates a validation terminal. When a customer wants to check whether a ticket is a winner, the retailer scans the barcode. The terminal displays one of 3 verdicts on its screen: not a winner, winner, and pay the customer the amount displayed. Or, for prizes over $599.50, a message directing the customer to claim the ticket at New Jersey Lottery headquarters in Trenton, or at a designated regional claim center. The system relies on a single, invisible assumption that the retailer will tell the customer the truth. The retailer's screen faces the retailer, not the customer. This is a design choice made decades ago, ostensibly to protect the ticket holder's privacy in front of other people standing in line. But the practical effect is that the customer standing at the counter has no visual confirmation of what the terminal actually said. The customer relies entirely on what the retailer reads aloud. For prizes up to $599.50, the retailer is authorized to pay out cash directly from the register. No paperwork, no claim form, no signature, just money changing hands across a countertop. That threshold, $600, exists because winnings above it are reported to the Internal Revenue Service. So, retailers can, entirely within their normal daily operations, process cash winnings up to just under $600 with no external oversight whatsoever. Above that threshold, a winning ticket must be claimed by the ticket holder in person at a claim center. The holder fills out a claim form, presents a government photo identification, and receives a check by mail 2 to 4 weeks later. Retailers can, and often do, submit their own personal winning claims through the same window. Nothing in the system prevents a retailer from cashing winning tickets they themselves hold. Nothing prevents them from asking a family member to cash a ticket for them. The New Jersey Lottery does maintain a fraud detection algorithm. It was implemented in phases beginning in 2018, after a family in California, over a period of nearly 2 decades, cashed dozens of high-value tickets they had almost certainly acquired through fraud. That algorithm flags any single individual who claims a statistically improbable number of winning tickets within a defined period. It does not, however, flag retailers whose stores generate a statistically improbable number of claims from a rotating cast of relatives with different last name variations and different addresses. That was the gap. That was the exact opening in the wall, and Raj Patel walked through it for 4 years. The first ticket he stole, according to the surveillance footage investigators eventually pulled, was a $2 match on a scratcher. A $5 Diamond Dazzler purchased on the morning of March 17, 2020, by a customer named Harold Bergman, 78 years old, retired postal worker, regular at Sunrise for over a decade. Bergman scratched the ticket at the counter with the edge of a quarter, saw a match he could not quite parse through his cataracts, and slid the ticket to Raj. Raj scanned it. The terminal displayed the word winner and a payout amount of $2. Raj glanced at the screen. He looked back at Bergman. Raj: "Sorry, Harold. Not a winner today. Better luck next one." He slid the ticket into a small metal tray under the register. Bergman shrugged, bought a coffee, and walked out into the March cold. That afternoon, Raj scanned the ticket through his own terminal as a retailer claim. $2 into his own register. $2. That was the beginning. Over the next 4 years, the method evolved. Raj identified a target profile: elderly customers, immigrants with limited English, hurried commuters buying scratchers with their morning coffee, anyone whose attention was elsewhere or whose trust was total. He never targeted younger customers, or customers who leaned across the counter to look at the screen themselves, or customers who came in groups. He was patient, he was selective, and he was, above all, careful about the amounts. Tickets that paid out under $600, he cashed himself, staggered across the days of the week, never more than 3 claims from his own name in a single 7-day window. Tickets between $600 and $5,000. He passed to his brother-in-law, Nikhil Patel, who lived in Woodbridge and ran a small trucking dispatch business, and who agreed, over time, to claim the tickets at other retailers in Middlesex, Union, and Somerset counties. Nikhil kept 20%. Raj kept the rest. Tickets above $5,000 required a trip to the Trenton Claim Center. For those, Raj used a rotating list. His cousin Manish, who worked at a car dealership in Elizabeth. His mother, Priya, now 64, and living in the same house in Colonia. Occasionally, an old college friend from Rutgers, Vishal Mehta, who was paid a flat fee of $1,500 per claim and asked no questions. The largest single ticket he stole was a Jersey Cash 5 winning ticket purchased on the evening of July 22, 2022, by a woman named Anita Kowalski, 68 years old, a widow from Metuchen who came into Sunrise once a week for her Marlboro Lights and her lottery numbers. She played the same 5 numbers she had played for 29 years. The birthdays of her 4 grandchildren and her late husband's badge number from the Perth Amboy Fire Department. That Friday night, those numbers came in. The ticket was worth $180,000. She came back into Sunrise on Saturday morning. She handed the ticket to Raj across the counter. He scanned it. The terminal displayed the words, "Claim at lottery headquarters," and the amount. Raj looked at the screen for what surveillance footage would later show was 3 full seconds. Then he looked at Anita Kowalski. "Raj, not this time, Anita. Try again next week." She nodded. She thanked him. She walked out. He claimed that ticket 11 days later, filed through his mother's name and social security number from the New Jersey Lottery Claim Center on Bear Tavern Road in Trenton. A check for $131,400 after federal and state tax withholding was mailed to Priya Patel at 27 Willow Street, Colonia, New Jersey. Anita Kowalski, meanwhile, went home to a rent-controlled apartment where her heat had been shut off the previous winter for non-payment. The signs were there for anyone who looked. Raj remodeled the back office of Sunrise in the fall of 2022, replacing the sheetrock and putting in a new drop ceiling. He replaced his 2019 Odyssey with a 2023 model in Cranberry Pearl. His daughter enrolled at a private Montessori academy in Metuchen that charged $24,000 a year in tuition. His wife wore a new gold set to Diwali, and his weekly commission reports to the New Jersey Lottery, filed dutifully each Monday morning by 7 a.m., showed a store that was steadily, quietly, generating an outsized share of the county's winning claims. No one noticed. No one checked. On the morning of Tuesday, March 5, 2024, Elena Vasquez walked into Sunrise Convenience and Deli at 8:14 a.m. She was 62 years old. She had retired the previous fall from a 29-year career as a housekeeping supervisor at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Brunswick. Her husband, Raphael, a plumber, had died of a heart attack in 2019. She lived alone in a small ranch house on Talmadge Road in Edison, and she came into Sunrise most weekday mornings for a large coffee, 2 sugars, 1 cream, and a single scratch-off ticket that she bought as a small ritual in memory of her husband. Raphael had believed in luck. That Tuesday morning, she bought a $10 Diamond Bonanza ticket. She scratched it at the counter with the edge of a quarter. She could see a pattern of matching numbers that she thought looked promising, but her reading glasses were in the car, and the fine print underneath the scratch layer was small. She slid the ticket across the counter to Raj. He scanned it. The terminal displayed, "Winner, $10,000. Claim at lottery headquarters." Raj looked at the screen for 1 full second. He looked back at Elena Vasquez. "Raj, Elena, so close, not a winner, $2 off. Try again tomorrow, okay?" He handed her back a $2 bill and slid the ticket under the counter. She smiled at him. She thanked him. She took her coffee and walked out to her car. She did not go home. She was meeting her granddaughter, Sophia, for breakfast in Highland Park. Sophia was 17, a senior at Highland Park High School, and had asked her grandmother to bring the losing scratcher so she could see the pattern. She was fascinated by lottery mathematics. Elena handed her the ticket over pancakes at a diner on Raritan Avenue. Sophia looked at it for less than 5 seconds. Then she looked at her grandmother. "Sophia, abuela, this is a winner." Elena laughed and told her that Raj had already checked it. Sophia disagreed. She insisted. She drove her grandmother 2 blocks to a 7-Eleven on Raritan Avenue, and the clerk, a young man named Devin Ramirez, scanned the ticket through the New Jersey lottery terminal at that store. The screen displayed, "Winner, $10,000. Claim at lottery headquarters." Devin Ramirez looked up at Elena Vasquez. He asked her, very carefully, where she had bought the ticket. She told him. He told her to go home, sit down, and call the New Jersey Lottery Fraud Hotline immediately. She called at 11:47 a.m. that morning. The complaint was logged, assigned a case number, and forwarded within 4 hours to investigator Marcus Feld at the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement. Marcus Feld had been waiting almost 8 months for a complaint exactly like this one. Marcus Feld had been an investigator with the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement for 11 years. In August of 2023, during a routine quarterly review of retailer claim patterns, an internal analyst had flagged Sunrise Convenience and Deli in Edison as a statistical outlier. Over the previous 36 months, the store had generated an unusually high number of winning claims filed by 4 individuals with the same last name as the retailer. The analyst had recommended a preliminary inquiry. Feld had opened a file. But without a specific victim complaint, he could not obtain a search warrant. He waited. He watched the weekly reports. And on March 5th, 2024, when Elena Vasquez called the fraud hotline, he moved. Within 72 hours, Feld had obtained warrants for Raj Patel's phone records, bank records, and a Middlesex County Superior Court warrant to seize the surveillance recordings from Sunrise Convenience. The store had a 12-camera system. Raj had installed it himself in 2019 after a break-in at a neighboring liquor store. The system stored footage on a networked hard drive in the back office. It retained recordings for 120 days. Investigators pulled every frame. The footage, when compiled and reviewed by a team of 3 analysts over 6 weeks, showed the entire operation in high definition. Every customer who slid a ticket across the counter, every scan, every glance at the screen, every false verdict spoken across the register, every slow, practiced slide of a winning ticket into the metal tray beneath the counter. Investigators cross-referenced the surveillance timestamps against the terminal's transaction log, which the New Jersey Lottery maintained on its central servers in Lawrenceville. For every ticket the surveillance showed Raj scanning, the transaction log showed exactly what the terminal had displayed. Winner, amount, and what Raj had done next. 342 tickets, $847,312 in stolen winnings, 218 identifiable victims. Nikhil Patel was interviewed on May 9, 2024. Investigators arrived at his Woodbridge home at 6:15 a.m. with a warrant. They laid out the phone records, the claim records, and a summary of the surveillance timeline on his kitchen table. Nikhil requested an attorney. Then, 6 hours later, through counsel, he offered a proffer. He agreed to cooperate in exchange for a reduced charge. He turned over 4 years of text messages between himself and Raj. The messages were, in the words of the prosecutor's later filing, a contemporaneous confession spanning 47 months. Raj to Nikhil, November 12, 2022. Got a 1200 today. Come by tomorrow before 10. Nikhil to Raj, November 13th. Hi, this is the third one this month. HQ is going to notice. Raj to Nikhil, same day. Use Manish next time. Split 3 ways. Nobody looks at 3. Nikhil to Raj, January 8th, 2023. The old lady from Metuchen came back asking about her cash 5. Kowalski. Raj to Nikhil, 7 minutes later. Tell her nothing, it's already claimed. Mom got the check last week. Nikhil to Raj, September 3rd, 2023. Feel bad about the one this morning. She said it was for her grandson's tuition. Raj to Nikhil, same evening. Everyone has a story. Business is business. On the morning of Thursday, March 14th, 2024, at 11:47 a.m., exactly 9 days after Elena Vasquez made her phone call, Detective Rachel Kim of the New Jersey State Police, investigator Marcus Feld of the Division of Gaming Enforcement, and 4 uniformed troopers walked through the front door of Sunrise Convenience and Deli. Raj Patel was behind the counter. He was ringing up a customer. A woman named Yolanda Reyes, 73 years old, was paying for a large coffee and a $5 scratcher. The scratcher was already in her hand. She had not yet handed it to Raj to check. Detective Kim stepped to the counter. Feld stepped to Kim's left. 2 troopers took positions at each end of the aisle. Det. Kim. Mr. Patel, I'm Detective Kim, New Jersey State Police. This is Investigator Feld from the Division of Gaming Enforcement. We have a warrant for your arrest and a search warrant for this premises. I need you to step away from the register and put your hands on the counter. Raj's hand froze halfway to the coffee lid dispenser. He looked at Kim. He looked at Feld. He looked at the 2 troopers at the aisles. Then he looked at Yolanda Reyes, who was still holding her scratcher. Raj, for what? I've done nothing wrong. Inver Feld. Theft by deception, lottery fraud, forgery, 51 counts. Please step out from behind the counter, Mr. Patel. Raj's shoulders dropped. His hands rose slowly, palms open, to the level of his chest. Raj, this is a misunderstanding. I want to speak to my lawyer. Date. Kim. That is your right. Please walk around the counter toward me. Slowly. He walked around the counter. Kim placed him in handcuffs at 11:49 a.m. Yolanda Reyes stood 2 feet away, her scratcher still in her hand, watching. She did not move. She did not speak. Later she would tell a reporter from the Star-Ledger that she stood there for a long time after they walked him out, still holding the ticket, because she did not know if she was supposed to leave it on the counter or take it home. We're heading into the courtroom part of this story now. Before we do, I want to say something. Stories like this, where someone in a position of trust steals from ordinary people at the exact moment they think they're being taken care of, don't get the attention they deserve in mainstream news. If you appreciate this kind of coverage, subscribe now and hit the notification bell. We cover cases like this every single week, and the ones we cover are the ones nobody else will touch. Raj Patel was transported to the New Jersey State Police Barracks in Somerville. He was processed, fingerprinted, photographed, and held for arraignment. His retail lottery license was suspended by the New Jersey Lottery Commission that same afternoon, effective immediately. Sunrise Convenience and Deli was closed by order of the Division of Gaming Enforcement, pending the outcome of the criminal case. a padlock, and a printed notice were placed on the front door before sundown. He was arraigned the following morning in Middlesex County Superior Court, Central Judicial Processing Division, before the Honorable Judge Andrew Marcelo Serrano. The prosecutor was Assistant Prosecutor Alicia Renner of the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, Financial Crimes Unit. The defense attorney was Ramesh Chandra, a criminal defense lawyer out of Edison who had been recommended to the family by Raj's Temple. The indictment, which had been secured by grand jury the previous week, listed 51 counts. Theft by deception, second degree, under New Jersey Statute 2C20-4. Forgery, third degree, under 2C21-1. Theft by unlawful taking, second and third degree. Lottery fraud under the New Jersey State Lottery Act. Money laundering, third degree. Conspiracy, in connection with the involvement of Nikhil Patel, Manish Patel, Priya Patel, and Vishal Mehta. The aggregate exposure, if convicted on all counts, ran to more than 80 years in state prison. Bail was set at $250,000, cash or bond. The family posted bond through a Perth Amboy bondsman that afternoon. Raj was released on pretrial supervision with conditions: surrender of his passport, no contact with any of his named victims, no employment at any establishment holding a lottery license, weekly check-ins with pretrial services, electronic monitoring at his home in Colonia. Elena Vasquez sat in the third row of the gallery during the arraignment. She wore a black cardigan and clutched a small framed photograph of her husband, Raphael, in her lap. When the judge read the count that referenced her March 5th ticket, she did not react. She did not cry. She looked at Raj across the room. He did not look back. After the arraignment, she stood in the hallway outside the courtroom, spoke briefly to a reporter from the Home News Tribune, and said one sentence into the reporter's phone. Elena Vasquez. He looked me in the eye. He looked me in the eye and he lied. The case is pending trial. Prosecutor Renner has stated on the record that the state will not be offering a plea below 15 years incarceration. The defense has filed motions to suppress the surveillance footage on Fourth Amendment grounds and to sever the counts involving family members. Judge Serrano has scheduled a suppression hearing for the fall. Nikhil Patel is cooperating. He has entered into a proffer agreement in exchange for a recommendation of probation and no jail time. He will testify against his brother-in-law at trial. 218 customers are now known victims. The New Jersey Lottery has announced a restitution fund for identifiable ticket holders, funded from seized assets. As of the last public accounting, 73 victims have been located. The remaining 145 are still being identified from the surveillance archive, one ticket at a time. Anita Kowalski, the widow from Metuchen, who played her grandchildren's birthdays for 29 years, was located in June. Her $180,000 will, if the state's forfeiture case succeeds, eventually be restored to her. She has said she will use it to move closer to her daughter in Pennsylvania. Harold Bergman, the retired postal worker whose $2 Diamond Dazzler was the first ticket Raj Patel ever stole, died in the winter of 2023 of complications from pneumonia. He never knew. Sunrise Convenience and Deli remains padlocked. The New Jersey Lottery Terminal has been removed. The metal tray beneath the register, in which 342 winning tickets were slid one after another over 4 years, is now in an evidence locker in Somerville. This case was disturbing, but the case on the right-hand side of your screen right now is even more brazen. Click it. You will not believe what this next one did.